I don't know if I would ever have imagined myself at 41 racing in the Olympics. Age is just a number, keep on dreaming, don't ever give up. But I think it's important to show up for my team and to set the example. And I'm definitely older than I think every other Olympian. So I need to show up for them just like they show up for me.
Lindsey Vonn, at 41 years old, attempted the most audacious comeback in Olympic skiing history, only to have it end in the most heartbreaking way possible. February 8, 2026, in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy, the world watched as one of skiing's greatest champions crashed spectacularly just 13 seconds into her Olympic downhill race, ending a comeback that defied medical science, critics, and common sense. What it took for Lindsey to even be there makes the crash that much harder to accept. Lindsey Vonn retired in 2019 after 19 years of competitive skiing, and her own words summed up the reason perfectly. "My body is broken." Injuries had made not just skiing, but everyday life too painful to continue. So she walked away from the sport with 82 World Cup victories, 3 Olympic medals, and a legacy as one of the greatest ski racers of all time. Nearly 6 years passed, and that seemed like the end of her story. April 2024 changed everything. Lindsey underwent a robot-assisted partial knee replacement at the Hospital for Special Surgery in West Palm Beach, Florida, where Dr. Martin Roach used Mako Surgical Corp robotic technology to remove damaged cartilage and bone before installing a titanium implant and plastic meniscus in her right knee. The procedure was minimally invasive, and the results were almost miraculous. 2 months later, she was wakeboarding and pain-free for the first time in years. "The plan was to get my life back, basically," she later explained, adding that she really didn't think about a comeback at all. Then she realized the 2026 Winter Olympics were going to be held in Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy, the place she called her favorite course, and where she had earned a record 12 World Cup victories. They called her Queen of Cortina there. November 24 brought the shocking announcement that she was returning to competitive skiing. Her motivation was clear. What happened next seemed to validate everything. December 2024 saw Lindsey return to World Cup racing, and her first 5 races back all ended with her standing on the podium, 2 of those as victories. One came in St. Moritz in January 2026, where at age 41 she became the oldest woman to ever win a World Cup, downhill in the 60-season history of the circuit. The World Cup downhill rankings had her in the lead. She was skiing with a titanium knee at speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour. And the impossible comeback wasn't just happening, but succeeding beyond what anyone thought possible. Disaster struck 9 days before the Olympic downhill race. The first crash, January 30th, 2026, Crans, Montana, Switzerland, brought a hard crash during a World Cup downhill. Lindsey lost control, landing a jump in poor visibility and falling snow, fell hard on her left leg, and ended up tangled in the safety nets while the race would later be canceled, after 3 of the first 6 racers crashed in the dangerous conditions. Doctors found a completely ruptured left ACL, bone bruising, and meniscal damage. Any athlete would typically face immediate surgery and months of recovery after that diagnosis, and for a 41-year-old attempting an Olympic comeback, it should have been the end of the story. 4 days later, February 4th, Lindsey made an announcement that shocked the skiing world when she said she would compete at the Olympics without surgery on her completely torn ACL, wearing a knee brace and racing anyway. Her statement captured the determination that had defined her entire career. "This is not obviously what I had hoped for. I've been working really hard to come into these games in a much different position. I know what my chances were before the crash, and I know my chances aren't the same as it stands today. But I know there's still a chance, and as long as there's a chance, I will try." And questions swirled about whether she should even be allowed to race in such a condition. Lindsey's Instagram response came the day before the race. "I am not unsure about life outside of sport. I am not searching for meaning or for attention or money. I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what I am made of." 2 training runs followed where she reached speeds of 78 miles per hour and posted the 3rd fastest time in Saturday's training session. Against all odds, she would compete. Ideal bluebird conditions greeted February 8, 2026, what witnesses described as a spectacularly beautiful day in Cortina, and was known as one of the fastest courses in the world, with racers exceeding 80 miles per hour in the opening Tofana Schuss section. High noon brought the start of the race, and Lindsey drew position 13 out of 36 competitors. 13 seconds was how long her Olympic dream lasted. An airborne moment turned catastrophic when Lindsey clipped a gate with her right shoulder, sending her pinwheeling through the air in a helpless twist before she landed hard on her back with her skis crisscrossed. Her head hit during the tumble, and her screams of pain were audible on the broadcast. She lay prone on the snow, responsive but unable to get up as the race was immediately halted. Her father, Alan Kildow, sat in the stands, staring at the ground while medical personnel attended to his daughter on the course, and the crowd at the finish line fell eerily silent. A stretcher came next, and approximately 15 minutes after the crash, a yellow helicopter lifted off to airlift her from the mountain, marking the second time in 9 days she'd been evacuated by helicopter. Cortina's Codavilla Pudi Hospital received her first. Then she was transferred to Cafoncello Hospital in Treviso, about 80 miles away, where doctors found a broken left leg. That afternoon brought orthopedic surgery to stabilize the fracture. Her sister Karen was watching and told NBC afterward, "It was scary because when you start to see the stretcher pulled out, it's not a good sign. We were just saying, like the man in the arena, she just dared greatly." The race resumed after Lindsey's evacuation, and what happened next seemed almost scripted when 30-year-old American Breezy Johnson from Jackson Hole, Wyoming, crossed the finish line first. Her time of 1:36.10 made her only the second American woman ever to win Olympic downhill gold, the first since Lindsey Vonn herself back in 2010. Johnson carried her own connection to Cortina, having crashed during a training run on this very course in 2022, tearing her ACL and cartilage in a crash that forced her to miss the Beijing Olympics. "Sometimes the things you love can hurt you the most," she said of the course. Her own words posted just before the race said it all. "I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what I am made of. 13 seconds, a broken leg, a helicopter ride, and a legacy that proves some comebacks are worth attempting, even when they don't end the way you